welcome to another episode of Betwixt Heaven and Hell, a video podcast hosted by JD. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Thank you for joining me on my video blog or podcast. This is the first ever episode of Betwixt Heaven and Hell. This episode, or this podcast, if you will, is some type of project of mine to help me to fully understand what a worldview looks like, to help me work through my worldview and to find out what others' worldviews are. You see, what I come to believe is that we all live here on this, what we call third rock from the sun, which revolves around the sun. We do have wrapped in this humanly flesh. We work every day towards our end of the body. So, meaning that I believe that we have life before we're born and we have life after we die. Right now, our pilgrimage is in our body, wrapped in our skin, and we're moving forward to someplace. And I believe that it's our experiences, our worldviews, everything that's happened to us, any readings that we come across. I believe that really shapes who we are, and I believe that we're molded a lot by the people around us. We listen to their views. We accept what they have to say. We take it in. All of us have some type of measuring stick that we measure by, some type of plumb line, if you will. But as we move forward, again, life is a pilgrimage. I remember back John Bunyan, who was an early a preacher, I want to say towards the 1500s, that he wrote a book called The Pilgrim's Progress. This is about a person or a man who was on a journey or pilgrimage himself, and it was to find the salvation of Jesus Christ and to move on to the glorification. That's interesting because as you read Pilgrim's Progress, you'll notice that people come alongside, walk with him for a while, and then fall away. And I think that a big part of what we do is an experience, learning from our experiences, and this is what shapes our worldviews, because your experience could start one way and then change your worldview to another. I myself is in the current worldview. I'm in my late 50s. I've had a lot of different experiences that have shaped who I am. First and foremost, I want you to know that I am a Christian. I do believe in Jesus Christ. I do believe that he has died for me and he was risen again that I may live again at the end of this pilgrimage that I'm on inside my body. I do believe that I needed a Savior. But this channel is not to harp on you about you needing Jesus. This channel is to talk about different worldviews and how they come about and how they get molded. I have, even where I sit, I do have a political worldview. My age tells you that I was here during September 11th of 2001. That's an experience that has shaped the worldview of many people around the world, in the sense that not only did September 11th shape the worldview of the Americans or the people in New York City or New Jersey, it also shaped the worldview of the Middle East. It shaped the worldview of the Europe. It shaped the worldview of several places and people in the different places of the world, because we spent over 20 years in Afghanistan. We didn't spend as long in Iraq, but I did. I happened to serve both in first in the Air Guard, which was supporting the enduring freedom and the Iraqi freedom, and then I happened to work in the National Guard as a truck driver in Iraq. That being said, being a truck driver and seeing what was going on in Iraq in 2007, 2008 time frame, you know, I like to think that we were bringing democracy to those people, that we were bringing a better life to those people. But yes, they may have had a dictator, but I don't think we were better off than they were. I believe that it's possible for people to think they're the good guy, but wind up realizing they are the bad guy, or they're part of the bad problem. That was hard for me to find, but then again, that's my take on it. Um, I also have a current worldview about spirituality. Spirituality, I believe, is with us all the time. Whether you're a believer or not, truth is truth. Um, there is only one truth. Two things of opposite value cannot be true, in the sense that you may hold on to one piece of truth and I may hold on to one piece of truth. But if we don't have the whole truth, we're both wrong. We're only holding on to two opposite ends of a piece of truth. So there's only four states, I believe it is. It's either I'm right and you're right and I'm wrong, we're both wrong, but we both can't be right unless we agreed on the same thing. Spirituality, I think there is a veil that separates us from a spiritual world. I believe that there is a spiritual world beyond what we can see. I believe that right beside us, there's a whole world going on that we cannot see with our eyes, but there are entities there. There are spirits there. It's come a long time for me to realize this in a certain sense. But what are those entities there? I do believe that there is a supreme God. Like I said, I am a Christian. So I also believe in angels. And if I believe in angels, which are good and glorify God, there are angels that don't glorify God, that have fallen and became what we consider to be demons. They said that Satan, the head demon, is to be a beautiful creature of light. He is a manifestation of the biggest or the best light, which now that he's fallen, he has been deceived. He is the biggest deceiver, the prince of deception. And that's what he goes around doing, is he goes around trying to find people to maybe not worship him, but put other things between you and God, or put other things between me and God. And I'm going to say me, I'm not going to say you. That being said, the reason we don't have angels and demons, or we don't fall like they did, is because when they were created with all the knowledge that they're ever going to have. So they can't gain experience, they can't gain knowledge to make them choose a different path, or choose a different worldview. Or we are able to do that. We are free-willed creatures, meaning that we can change throughout our lifetime to move from one state to another, where they can't. They knew what their whole job was going to be, and they chose not to follow that job, and they chose to rebel against God. So there was no second chance for them, which is pretty sad, in the sense that I believe they had it really easy, but yet they wanted to find glorification for themselves. Now, there are several types of angels. I'd like to read a statement here that says that according to the Bible, angels are spiritual beings created by God to serve his purposes. The English word angel comes from the Greek word angelos, meaning messenger. So angels are God's messengers for people. The two most famous examples of angels in the Bible are the ones given by name, or Gabriel, who stands in the Lord's presence. That's in the book of Luke 1:19, and Michael, who fights against Satan and the enemies of God in Revelation 12:17. The angel of the Lord is another prominent angel in the Bible. The angel of the Lord appears frequently in the Old Testament, usually when something dramatic or meaningful is about to happen. The angel of the Lord primarily serves as a messenger of God, preparing the way for God's appearance and intervention, as in Exodus 3:2. The angel of the Lord also appears in the New Testament to announce the birth of Jesus Christ. Now, that appears in Luke 2:9 through 12. And they also have the angel in the three of the Gospels that the four Gospels that roll away the stone. We're coming up on Easter here, so that is something that will be preached in a couple weeks, is that there was an angel, Matthew 28:2, they rolled away the stone so people could see that the tomb was empty. And like I told you with the demons, not all angels are faithful servants to God. These angels are called fallen angels. They're also known as demons, where angels have rebelled against God, who are cast out of heaven for their disobedience. Revelation 12:7 through 9 says that a third of the angels fell from heaven when they followed Satan. So you see, angels play an important part of carrying out God's plan for the world. God has a plan. It's written in the Bible. I do use the Bible as my plumb line, as my measuring stick. As everybody has to have a measuring stick, I think you do too. Otherwise, you just are adrift afloat with no motor. I do believe that we have guardian angels. The Bible even says we have guardian angels, and we need them. It said in Exodus 23:20, "Behold, I send an angel before you to guard you on your way to bring you to the place that I have prepared." This is God speaking. Also in Psalm 91:11 through 12, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. On their hands they will bear you up, lest you strike your foot against a stone." Now this is a verse that Jesus used when he was in the desert for 40 days, and Satan come up and Satan used this verse against him, saying that jump from the pinnacle of the highest place in Jerusalem, and his angels are supposed to come and get you. Again, I said, like the angels announced the birth of Jesus Christ. We find that Luke 1:30 through 33, "And the angel said to her, 'Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God, and behold, you will conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High, and the Lord God will give to him the throne of his father David, and he will reign over the house of Jacob forever, and his kingdom there will be no end.'" So it says here that the father David, he will come from the stump of Jesse. So there are many verses about angels. Angel of the Lord, and the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. He looked, and behold, the bush was burning, yet it was not consumed. Okay, this was talking about Moses in Exodus. Now, you have to understand that, like I said, that we have a veil. I believe we have a veil between this world and that of the spirit world. and that we can't see what goes on there because of the light frequencies we aren't able to see. Now, this is not New Age. I don't want you to think that I'm talking about New Age and talking about frequencies, okay? Because, in the demonic, there are several verses about fallen angels. Isaiah 14:12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, with didst weaken the nations? Matthew 25:41, then he will say to those on his left, depart from me, you cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. 2 Corinthians 11:14, and no wonder, for even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. He was light. He was the brightest light in heaven. That's the way God created him. Saint Lucifer. 2 Peter 2:4, for if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but cast them into hell and committed them to chains of gloomy darkness, to be kept until judgment. To be kept until judgment. So he's holding these angels, some of them until judgment. But there are ones here that we do not have the opportunity to see with our own eyes. And angels themselves are spirit entities, yet they can put flesh on and cover themselves for us to see, as they did with Lot and his sister and his daughters and his wife when they came upon Sodom, and Lot was entertaining the angels into his home, and they got him out. So that means that if there's powers and principalities out there, and there's a war going out there with spiritual battles between demons and between angels, that when we look at each other, we don't fight between ourselves. We don't fight flesh to flesh or blood to blood, okay? Actually, when we fight against ourselves, we're actually fighting principalities to principalities. It's where do you stand compared where do they stand? Who is forming your worldview? What is forming your worldview? That's probably what I'm getting at is I believe that there's something on the spirit world that we're going to pick the veil up and try to peek under, hopefully within these video blogs or podcasts that come into the future. But the spirit world is just beyond our eyesight. Now with this podcast, we're going to have many more commentaries. I'll do much more research. I'd like to hear back from you if you have anything to say. I will read all the comments that you put. But there will be interviews. I'm going to make sure that there's interviews because I want other people to share their worldview with us. They're going to have interviews of angels and demons, what maybe has manifested in their lives. We're going to also have interviews and discuss NDEs. Now, what is an NDE? An NDE is a near-death experience. Now, there's a big controversy about people, and there's people and pastors not believing in your NDE. Well, I'm here to tell you I'm not one to judge. I believe that near-death experiences are something that happens more frequently than not. Like I said, we are a spirit in this body, this thing that we call home, our flesh. But I believe that we can be disattached to our body and be somewhere else and then come back to the body. I'd like to mention that there was two people that I saw. Or actually, there was two people with near-death experiences. One of them is kind of iffy, I think. In Acts 9, verses 3 through 6, some people believe that Paul had a near-death experience when he saw a light from heaven and heard a voice while traveling to Damascus. Now, that's when he was trying to get to Damascus to murder and kill and arrest all the Christians, because he was a Pharisee at that time. But it didn't say that he was dead, but afterwards, the bright light, his eyes he was blinded. He had scales over his eyes. Until he got to Damascus, they had to guide him to a place, his men. 2 Corinthians 12, 2 through 5, it says this about Paul. Some people use this passage as evidence of NDEs, but it doesn't say that the man was near death or dead. Well, 2 Corinthians 12, 2 through 5 says that Paul says a man in third person was caught up to the heavens, the third heaven, whether in body or out of body, he does not know. Some people want to say that this, it doesn't say exactly when this happened, but this could be a good time frame about when Paul was stoned and thrown down a hill and left for dead. In Stephen's martyrdom, when Stephen in the book of Acts, right before he was killed, that he was being pelted by stones, and Stephen's eyes were open, and the events in heaven was up there before he killed. He saw it, and it was great, and he just gave glory and smiled, and the heavens were open to him right before he died. So, I don't know. I've met people that said we had NDEs. There will be an interview shortly with a person that I know of that said he had an NDE, and I'm looking forward to having this interview with him and bringing it to you. So as we go and we start to look at the worldview of others, I wish that you would put down in the comments what you would like to see. And it's okay to be different from me. It's okay to not agree with what I have to say. It's okay to half-heartedly agree with what I have to say. But like I said, there will be interviews that we will do. And we're going to have other people's worldview here, and I may not agree with it. So I'm putting a disclaimer in the first episode saying that some ideas in the future video podcasts may not align with the views and ideas of me or this channel. However, I believe it is by stretching into the uncomfortable is how we grow. And that's all I'm asking you to do, is stretch into the uncomfortable here, as I'm going to do, to see where it takes us. So as I'm going to bring this episode to a close, I appreciate you hanging in there with me, and I'm going to ask you to like, share, and subscribe to my videos. And hopefully together that we can look at many different worldviews. You can help shape mine, and I can help shape yours. And I hope for some very good conversations back and forth. I promise to read every comment that is made. Again, I look forward to seeing you in the near future. I plan on trying to break these in about once a week. Once every 10 days, I should have an episode up. So please keep checking back or subscribing. That way you'll get a notification when the next episode is up. Until then, may God bless you. Thank you for listening to the Betwixt Heaven and Hell podcast with your host, JD. And if you made it this far, please hit like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, have a wonderful day and God bless.